Welcome back to Mental Health Crafting. I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your family and consumer science agent. For our series this month, we've been talking about how crafting, finishing projects, putting things together, using your hands and your mind can be positive for your mental health. So far, we've looked at using positive words in crafts and making a letter board. We talked last time about just paper you have around the house and some of the cool things you can do with that. Taking time to color or scrapbook or collage, whatever it is you'd like to do. Today, we're going to talk about textiles. Just like we talked about paper, the texture, the feel of things can be soothing for a lot of us. The patterns, the things that we see within those. So textiles are another way to work on, pull some crafts together, maybe again, things that you just happen to have around your house that you can take and use. So one of the things that I think is great, can be very soothing because it's just the repetitive piece. You can make patterns, whatever you would like to do, is weaving. We have a phenomenal weaving project in 4-H that teaches you some of the Navajo traditions and how they actually build a loom and weave. But you can get some very simple things that you can do inexpensively that may be relaxing for you. A lot of the kits that they sell, and they say, okay, these are crafts for kids, this is something for kids. Doesn't have to be for kids. We as adults can do those things and enjoy it. So a couple of examples of those. This is the loom, and I love this. This one's my son's, but I had one of these when I was a kid. You take the stretchy bands and you use your little stick and you weave those together in whatever pattern you would like to make the pot holders or the trivets on this. Very soothing, not expensive, comes as a whole kit with everything you need to do it. So something that you could definitely touch and feel and work on. Same thing, paracord, you can buy all different kinds. We have a braiding project in 4-H to put things together. These were kits that actually just make the little bracelets, so they came with the cord that you needed as well as the ends. But you can also just buy the cord and get instructions for different types of projects you want to do, along with the weaving and similar to crochet, but when you're not quite to that skill level, these are smaller looms that are set up differently to use. It's hard to see the clear one. Let me hold up the blue one. These looms are specifically made to do the small. These are just the little rubber bands. Okay, friendship bracelets, necklaces, same things. My kids used to love doing this. It was a great way to get them sitting and focused on something else as opposed to just running around being crazy, which sometimes is what we need as adults for our mental health, is just that opportunity to sit and have it be quiet, sit and listen to an audiobook, sit and watch a movie, but we need our hands engaged doing something, whether it's doodling on that sheet of paper that we've saved or getting started with other types of textiles. So the other piece, something I want to learn to do and have not mastered yet, so I'm not going to teach it to y'all, is finger knitting. So having different types of yarn, different types of fibers. These are two different thicknesses. This one is thinner. This is very plush, wonderful stuff. So you can make baby blankets. You can make a blanket for yourself, a scarf for yourself. Something that when you get to the end, you have that finished product that there again is soft, makes you feel good to have it, to use it. So all of those things can contribute to how we put things together. You know, you can also think about quilting. Some of you, if you do like to sew, quilting or making clothes, repurposing clothes, embroidery, cross stitch, plastic canvas. There are tons of textile related things that you can do. Some require special skills. You're going to start basic and you're going to learn and build and go on with that. Some, not so much. We've seen a lot. What we're going to talk about today is a very simple thing. You can use your scraps or you can purchase new stuff to do it, whatever you prefer. But we're going to talk just about tying. You know, if you don't sew, you don't have a machine, you don't want to do all of those pieces. But most of us can tie. It's good for our dexterity, keeps our fingers moving, can really engage our mind in just some type of a repetitive behavior. So think about, we've seen tied blankets. One of ours, we recycled t-shirts and we tied the bottom of it to make a tote bag. So there's all those types of projects that you can think about doing. So one of the things that comes out really cute, and again, can use up some of your scraps, things that you just have lying around, are those shaggy scrap wreaths. So I have some different options for you how you can do that. We have some gorgeous tulle wreaths. Some of you might have seen my beautiful sunflower one in some of the different videos we've done that my sister-in-law made for me. I have another one that's 4-H green and white that I picked up at an auction. And there's some skill involved to that, and using either zip ties or wire, and there's a lot more parts and pieces to doing that. So I highly recommend, if that's something you're interested in, watch some tutorials, go to a class, and start doing that. But for today, we're gonna do something much more simple. So the first thing you need to do is decide what you're gonna use for your frame, kind of figure out your sizing. So I have a couple different options here. These came 2 for $1. So you can see they're not large. There's a lot of different little projects you could do with this. I've seen, trying to get the wire out, or you can see it without all the stuff in the background. Some that were done red, white, and blue. I saw one that had brown tied in the middle and then yellow all around it, like a big sunflower. That was my favorite, just in case you haven't noticed, I have sunflowers around. But using these smaller ones, obviously it's gonna be a quicker project for you to complete, as well as take less fabric depending on what you have on hand. Okay, embroidery hoops. And this actually, both pieces are here. If you're doing embroidery, you might be using these. They come again in a variety of sizes you can use. This is one we just happen to have here in the office. This would actually, again, make 2, because we're gonna take it apart and just use the one piece. Or we can always use, now these come again in a variety of sizes. They're same as the smaller ones, but they have the 4 wire rows, and obviously it's a little larger. I can look through the middle of this one. So there's another option for what you want to do. Then you're gonna go through your fabric and you're gonna cut, tie, or cut, rip, whatever works for you to get your fabric done. So what works the best in doing this type of a wreath? 1 inch to 1/2 inch. Now lighter fabrics, this is just a lightweight cotton, about 1 inch is gonna be about right for the width. If you have some heavier burlap, or maybe this is a great project for recycled jeans, okay, cutting up some old denim that's gonna be a little heavier, those are the things you're gonna wanna make maybe just 1/2 inch, so that it's gonna be easier to tie without quite so much bulk. And then we made these about 10 inches long. Again, because you're tying and it's gonna have that fun, full, kind of shaggy look to it, if they're not cut perfectly straight, if they're not all exactly the same length, that's gonna be okay. So what we're gonna do, we've got our strips. These are all, I just went through a bucket of old fabric that we had here and pulled some out. That was some colors that kind of appealed to me. So I've got some pinks and some greens. There's some yellow thrown in there to kind of highlight it. And if you don't have enough fabric, this is where you could always pick up some ribbon in a complementing color, or maybe you need a solid color to go with your pattern, something that you could use for filler that way. Any type of a textile would work for that. Or if you do like the tulle, making the tulle wreaths or the mesh, again, that's great filler that you could put in there. So if you're going to do just the flat for your embroidery hoop, you can decide, okay, do I really, you may have to decide at the end, because it may just depend how it turns out. Do I want to have, for the front, it's all flat with these sticking out on the back with the tails, or fluffy all over the front? So as you tie, you can figure that out. Figure out your pattern, how you want to lay stuff in. So for this one, these are scraps that have not been trimmed to be 10 inches yet. So you can see I just have a big pile there to work from. So the thing I want to do with this, because I may want to do the flat side or the fluffy side, is I want to make sure that I tie them all the same way. So the top is always the top where I'm going to tie. And I'm just going to put it around and just crisscross and pull, crisscross and pull to tie that on there. And then I can push them together as I work my way around, tighten them up as much as I need to, so that it starts to fill out. Okay, same thing on your wires. You're going to tie across. Now the thing you want to do here, if you tie every piece on these individual wires, it's going to take forever. And that may be what you want to do, but it's also not going to look quite as full, because you're going to have all of these gaps between your wires. So what we're gonna do, let's see, if I go this way, probably can see better, is we're gonna select whatever we're gonna start off with for our pattern. And we're gonna go over the 2 middle rungs. And we're gonna tie that. Okay, again, just a basic tie. Crisscross and pull. Okay, and then crisscross and pull. I do double knot mine just to make sure that they don't shake loose. But that's around the first 2. The next one, pick another color so you can see it. I'm going to put around the middle 2 wires. Okay, just like that, same thing, crisscross pull, crisscross pull. And again, I'm creating a pattern. Middle 2, or sorry, bottom 2, middle 2, outer 2. So now I'm going to take another strip and go around the outer 2, trying to keep everything turned to where if there's a right and a wrong side to your fabric, the right side comes out on your wreath. Okay, so I've got inner, middle, outer. And I get those tied, and then I'm gonna just keep going with that pattern, switching out which ones I wanna use. And as I go around the side, I'm gonna push them together tight. So it's gonna begin to fill in and again, be fluffy. And I'll be able to look at the back and go, oh, there's a gap there, there's a hole there. And I may wanna go back and stick another piece in there to fill it in. Or again, maybe that's where I want to put a ribbon, or I want to put a monogram letter on here to finish it out. And I can add all those things. But the whole idea, once you get your strips done, and you can order, guys, you can order strips already cut, if that's really what you want to do. Once you get that part done, it's just the sitting and tying. You can sit at the table, you can kick back in your favorite recliner, and just keep your hand and your mind engaged in what you're doing, and relax and not worry about everything else that's going on around you. Having the textiles to touch and feel, the beautiful colors and patterns to think about, can have a positive impact on our mental health. I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your Family and Consumer Science Agent. If you have a question, you can submit those to us online, curryextension.nmsu.edu. Click on Family Health and Wellness and submit those, and we will respond to you either email or with a phone call if you provide us that information. Or you can stop in and see us, 818 North Main here in Clovis. I hope you have been learning something about a fun craft, something that you can engage in and do. Have a wonderful week.